tifuna mulusaka meya watu mulusaka muno meya watu. Zambia, kukopa belt, all the districts we have mayors except Ndola and Kitwe. 2026, we want our own mayor in Ndola. Ndiye nkaniyo. Six, this story I'm hearing that the president has apita koma ma-MP na makansela bazaluza manje president azasebe verani manje president muniona ati nilibe zero ineka manje president azasebeza bwanje eka azasebeza bwanje president eka mukanipasa ma independence mu parliament muja nikabauza uti lamulo tiende uko bakana. How is the president going to run a government? The president needs councillors. The president needs council chairpersons. The president needs mayors. The president needs MPs. The president needs ministers. Ndiye suti yo 2026 tifuna suti. Ngati tina vuto na MP watu ni mukazika panzi iwe bwera nkale hapa. Iwe kala. Zambia, muma councils where we have no council chairpersons, we have no mayors, tivutika. Tifuno gwira nchito, mayor akamba vinangu. Tifuna mulusaka meya watu mulusaka muno meya watu. Zambia, kukopa belt, all the districts we have mayors except Ndola and Kitwe. 2026, we want our own mayor in Ndola.
Amana no mazuba kumusanza unoyo hakainde wanoyo no eba la support here support from southern province, but some people they have given up. When I go to southern province now, if someone from southern province can give up, are you telling me that someone from Osaka and Chingola can still love him? When you yourself who started loving him before these other provinces started loving him, you've given up. Some of them have, like me, have stopped loving him. Me and my family and other people, we've stopped loving him. Now you think if we can give up, I'm also Tonga because when I'm Tonga, no Tonga, many Tonga were full time Mdala. But I have given up on supporting Hagainde because of my own reasons. So you think the reasons that the other people have for giving up on supporting Hagainde are not valid, such that the other people from other provinces they cannot buy them. Let us learn to analyze politics. Zambia, you must realize to say, Mdara, an election can be very disappointing. Ask the people of Kenya. Ask the people of Kenya. The person that won as a president, so let us be very careful as we talk. And let us be exposed. Not to get the levels of southern province, we get the Mena Momons, Mokala, now Kuli Womonzogo. And because that village supports again, you think now everyone else is supporting. That is non-exposure. Let us be exposed. Why is it that people fail to deliver? They fail to deliver when the head is not functioning very well. If the head is not functioning, now training, you can't expect the trailers to start moving. These mayors, these MPs and councillors who are not performing, it's because Hagainde himself is a failure. Let us just face the reality. If Mr. Hijirema was not a failure, he was going, because he is aware that in Mazabuka, because the other time he was talking about the roads, particularly about Mazabuka, he is aware that there is nothing going on in Mazabuka and he is quiet. It means that is how the West culture is. It's like Bari now is an entertainer who knows how to speak, entertaining people. No, he just entertains people through his speeches. But when it comes to delivering, he is not there. So we should just accept that fact. So those that are saying, the councillor must go, the higher must continue. Do you know where the money comes from? When we talk about infrastructure development, the money comes from central government. Now they said, CDF. And you see, this CDF comes with guidelines. They may release money, and the money that will be released will come with guidelines on how it will be spent. And you can't expect the councillor or an MOP or the mayor to just go against the instructions that will come from the ministry. No, and that ministry receives the instructions directly from the president. So the failures we are seeing now, and even the same money for CDF, there is one about 2 times, 3 times. And yet they have kept on increasing money. We've increased the money from this figure to another figure. But they don't release those money. Go and find out how many times CDF Nyagas were where. You will be surprised that yes, the figures have been increased and people have been jumping up and down like toddlers. But there is nothing that is coming out. Bagalonga. So those are the things that we are talking about. Let us not be overexcited like a toddler that has been overfed with milk. No. Let us sit down and analyze these things. We don't just have to do things like so this failure is not for the MOP. The failure is not for the mayor. The failure because the Hagainde told us that Kamuvika Chen or not in it or Chen yard rogupuringa. Jala uti iteni putting about Mutuavika Wumpela Wala Noka. If you want to trailer with the end, Bama Cancer, Bataric Wind, Abama Bama Cancer, Ramu go have to Mutuandia Uzwa. It is an error for you to say that to go have trailer come out, a train end, so that to go ahead trailer, whatever the end. What kind of thinking is that? What a train guy tendi, Kamudata Mutu and Kamuta putting in Muta dos. Mabika Mutu wanting upon a man that would dosa train. More UPND is like everyone in UPND now, Mutu Wanchinga. You talk about a leader at the district level under UPND. It's like Mutu Wanchinga well train. You talk about the president. He is not functioning. He is not delivering. So failures all over. And someone is talking about God will give us someone that will take it up.
King Cobra wano mwera nyabuta HH muguli ya kugitali yake kutwamba rusumpu
tema ambassador
may so rest in peace wali buti
badara sata in his few years now 2 years yangata naho kuzona ganjira bulero you saw a lot of things changing. Many people were saying Shatanjira uyoba nkondo uyoba in his talking he sounded as if he's a bad man. But to talk about actions, there are so many things that we can point out in now.
But what is the problem? Let him talk. Listen, let him talk. What's your problem? No, you let him talk. No, don't point at him like that. No, why is he pointing at him like that? You should have respect. No. Put him in the one. No, let's point at him like that. Anyway, let him talk to you. It's okay, fine, it's all right. But what is the problem? Let him talk. Listen, let him talk. What's your problem? No, you let him talk. No, don't point at him like that. No, why is he pointing at him like that? You should have respect. No. Put him in the one. No, let's point at him like that. Anyway, let him talk to you. What's your problem? Excuse me. It's okay, fine, it's all right. But what is the problem? Let him talk. Listen, let him talk. What's your problem? No, you let him talk. No, don't point at him like that. No, why is he pointing at him like that? You should have respect. No. Put him in the one. No, let's point at him like Anyway, let him talk to you. What's your problem? Good day and welcome to today's program. Share the broadcast wherever you are watching us from. Today is a momentous day. Sorry for starting the broadcast late. We are discussing the judgment by Justice Concepta Chinyanwa Zulu. I needed to speak to the lawyers. I needed to speak to the parties involved, such as my dear brother Mal Sampa and others. I needed to fully understand the judgment, and I also needed to have sight of the details of the judgment. So I'm sorry that we started late, but we are underway. Please share the broadcast. There have been various developments. You saw there the video I'm showing where the former Director General of the Zambia Medical and Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, Mr. Nyasulu, he has joined politics. Remember, he joined the Patriotic Front last year, and last week he joined Citizen First, and today there was a matter where Tonse Alliance leader Honorable Brian Munduwili was summoned to the Anti-Corruption Commission for investigations that they are doing. And Mr. Nyasulu turned up as to support Mr. Munduwili. You remember every time there was any of the leaders in the opposition summoned by the police, all of us would go to that leader, whether it was Fred Membe, whether it was Given Lubinda, whether it was Sean Tembo, whether it was Zumani Zimba, whoever in the opposition fraternity was caught by the police, we always went there for solidarity. And Mr. Nyasulu also turned up today at the ACC. And for one reason or another, he was immediately bundled and totally, you saw he was brutally handled and bundled into a police van like he's a sack, like he's a bag of meal. That amounts to police brutality. The cameras were rolling, and I'm glad that the cameras captured that. The police officer who was at the scene is the famous one. Many people remember when I took the late president Edgar Lungu for a walk. We were at the eligibility case at the Supreme Court grounds, and it was the full bench decided that they should adjourn the matter for a period of about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So he said the whole process of going back home and coming back, with the traffic in Lusaka, it was just not possible. So we decided that the president should go to Intercontinental for tea, and we decided to walk out.
Now, that officer who was in charge there, Ronald Zambo was in charge. And remember, he had an altercation with me, Mwamba, it's not your show. Because he said the president is not going anywhere. If he wants to walk, it won't happen. Let him jump in his vehicles and then go to Intercontinental. Then at the matter, remember when he had that altercation with Socialist Party president, when he stopped them when they were escorting Archbishop Alec Banda, and there was that famous viral video where Dr. Fred Membe was asserting to the he was deputy police commissioner at the time, that, and his police officers, that he is a lawyer and he should be allowed to pass. So today, Ronald Zambo stands promoted, is now Lusaka Province Police Commissioner, and is the one that was in charge when Brian Munduvile arrived. And for those that are joining us, this is a video where they bundled ZAMSA, ex-ZAMSA Director General Victor Nyasulu, who turned up to offer solidarity to Brian Munduvile.
It's okay, fine, it's all right.
The Anti-Corruption Commission has since issued a statement that they are investigating cases of road contracts that were given to companies associated with Honorable Brian Munduvile. Brian Munduvile has been a businessman. I've known him for about 30 years. From the period I knew him, he was running businesses in Kaoma, in Solwezi, in Lusaka. He's always been a businessman, and he's been a contractor for many years. So the SEC says there are these roads that were given to his companies in northern Muchinga, Central Province, and Eastern Province, and they are alleging that advance payment of 1.5 million kwacha was given to these companies and works were not done. Having been permanent secretary, when I tender, I would ensure that you give me insurance guarantee or bank guarantee, whichever came first. And if you defaulted, I ensured that I cashed that payment so that there is no loss to government. This is entirely a commercial transaction. Of course, they're trying to criminalize it because Brian Munduvile has companies that are involved in this dispute. They want the issue to reach him as one of the directors, yet companies are legal personalities. And like George Sangalukasha MP said earlier, if, for example, let us assume the works were not done, you have an insurance guarantee on the file. Why don't you cash it? Why don't you monetize it before you criminalize the process? We'll not discuss that matter. It's under now investigations by the SEC, and Brian Munduvile and his team will probably speak to that issue. Share the broadcast. This is a hot one. We are discussing the development that occurred today in the High Court, and I want to offer my opinion when I deliver the facts, and then we can discuss. Because remember, the ECZ have issued an electoral calendar where on 15th April, just literally 15 days from now, the electoral process kicks in. Presidential candidates must take to ECZ the members, the 1,000 supporters, 100 from each province. So there is no time. Everything becomes very important in that light. We have a fuel crisis from Livingstone, Choma, Lusaka, Kapirimposhi, Serenje, up to Nakonde. And we have a serious fuel shortage ranging from Chipata up to Solwezi. We have a countrywide crisis of fuel. I know government might attribute it to the crisis that is happening in the Middle East and the war between the US, Israel on one side and Iran on the other side that has waged war and closed, the Strait of Hormuz so that the 20% of fuel that goes to the world doesn't pass. It's been almost a month. But for a government that plans, you should have 60, 90, 120 days in your storage facilities. You should have security, energy security, up to 120 days. So if fuel has run out barely a month, and remember the fuel we have now was supplied months ago, then we have a crisis. It probably means we probably didn't have proper reserves for the country. That will be a topic on its own, I think, on Monday or Tuesday or Sunday, but it's a matter we should discuss because the country might grind to a halt. There are solutions. For example, Dangote in Nigeria now is pumping full throttle. He has capacity to supply literally the entire Africa. Maybe we should quickly stop buying from the Middle East and go to Dangote, line up and get that fuel. Take it to the port of Durban or Beira or Dar es Salaam so that we have fuel that is reliable. Our reliance on the Middle East fuel might just be a problem. Let's get to the business of the day. Remember, the Patriotic Front held a general conference. Some people didn't participate. They said, we are waiting for the judgment that is coming up on March 27th. Everything that we'll discuss would come to this day, that we are waiting for the judgment that will come up on March 27th. So which judgment were all these stakeholders waiting for? Today I saw a letter by a former Secretary General, Davis Mwila, telling the acting registrar of societies that in the event that the matter is won in the High Court, that the registrar must include him as office bearer because his name was originally on that paper. It's a side issue. What is before court is that Miles Sampa held a general conference, an extraordinary general conference on 24th October 2023. And we disputed that the general conference didn't follow any of the party statutes, any of the party regulations. We said Miles Sampa left behind his 8 other colleagues that had filed as presidential candidates. Since then, the matters have been in court, including subsequent matters. There was a matter where Miles Sampa fired 9 MPs. And this is one of the many matters that were in court. In this particular case, Nakachinda, as Secretary General of the party, with Brian Munduwile and the other MPs, sued Miles Sampa to go to the crack of the matter because we had gone through injunctions, we had gone through preliminary matters. But what was the heart about all this is that the question of whether the PF held a general conference was what was at stake. And we wanted the courts to interpret if Miles Sampa's conference was a lawful, legitimate, and legally binding general conference according to the party statute of the Patriotic Front. So besides all the other cases that were there, everything now culminated on this case. This case had Raphael Nakachinda as petitioner with Brian Munduwile and other MPs on one side. And on the other side, Miles Sampa. In the intervening period, Miles Sampa reconciled with the late president, Edgar Lungu. You must have seen those pictures. And the outcome of that was that, then why are we fighting in court? Why can't we restore the status? And the status began to be restored. President Edgar Lungu had appointed Raphael Nakachinda as Secretary General after the challenges we had with Honorable Nixon Chilangwa, whose substantive position was Deputy Secretary General, and with the persecution against him, he had now was in Mukobeko prison. So the president appointed Raphael Nakachinda as Secretary General. So Raphael Nakachinda is then the one that had sued Miles Sampa. So when the matter was reconciled, that okay, we've reconciled legally on the paper, to date, it's not Robert Chavinga, to date, from 2023, The one who's president of the PF has always been Mal Sampa. He's never been removed. If you look at the so-called Lugwalo, you will find that the expelled MP Robert Chavinga is a committee member. From 2023 to date, the president who's been on the PF Lugwalo has always been Mal Sampa. That has not changed. Number one fact. We are contesting those changes at the General Conference that made the Registrar of Society make those amends was illegal. The decision of the Registrar of Society to make those amends, making Mal Sampa as president and committee member and others, was illegal. In our view, that's what we've always asserted. And the changes that subsequently occurred at Parliament, where Brian Munduwile, as leader of the opposition, was removed, Stephen Kampiongo, as chief whip, opposition chief whip, was removed, and Anton Kasandwe as deputy were removed. We held that that entire chain is illegal. Changes at the Registrar of Societies and changes at Parliament were illegal. So we have been in court. So when a year later, Mal Sampa reconciled with the late president, we agreed, at the moment, Mal Sampa, you are the one appearing as president, cause the letters to be written. So there are about 3 substantial letters Mal Sampa wrote. Number one, he affirmed the appointment of President Lungu of Raphael Nakachinda as Secretary General. Number 2, he wrote to Parliament to make the changes to remove first, another action, was to remove Morgan Ingona. He removed Morgan Ingona as Secretary General, and Mal Sampa made himself as Secretary General. Then as Secretary General and President, he wrote a letter to Parliament to remove Robert Chavinga, Anton Mumba, and others, and I think Shadiza MP, were removed from the books, and he proposed that new people should take those positions in Mulenga Kampamba, Kalulushi MP, and Brenda Nyirenda Lundazi MP, and Anton Kasandwe. Those changes were not effected. And we saw later that Morgan Ingona rushed to court to get an injunction against those changes. Number 1, to remove him. Number 2, to cause changes at Parliament. Number 3, to cause changes at the Registrar of Societies. That is a matter that has been in court. When we settled on a consent that there was now no need, you, Mal Sampa, and us are in one agreement. Given Lubinda is acting president, he has been tasked to convene a general conference that will give us a president. In between us, let us agree. And we signed a consent agreement. And that agreement was filed in court in May 2025. There were other developments where Morgan Ingona, who had put up an injunction to restrain Mal Sampa from firing him, that injunction, Judge Zulu threw it out in May 2025. Come August, September, November, you and I put pressure on this judge. We called her, she's a mercenary judge. She's just doing the bidding of the state. She's not willing to adhere to this. This is just mere consent. Why can't she agree? While she was determining that process, we saw Morgan Ingona once again and Robert Chavinga come to join to the dispute we had over the consent agreement. In November, the judge ruled on our consent that you have a main matter between Mal Sampa and myself and ourselves, the PF. So I'm going to determine that fact, especially that there's these third parties, Morgan Ingona and Chavinga, who have joined the case and are expressing interest that they held this conference. That resulted in their changes also to be part of the PF. So today, what we've been waiting for is that judgment, because she refused to sign the consent order. She said, look, we will not deal with the consent order. Let's go to full trial. Was this conference legitimate? So there was a full trial. There were 2 main witnesses for us, the petitioners and plaintiff, Stephen Kampiongo represented us. He went through the constitution of the Patriotic Front, demonstrated how a general conference or extraordinary conference is held. On the other hand, was Morgan Ngona, who asserted that the conference on 24th was a valid conference. But he also, when he was asked, there was that funny question. When he was asked, so how did you become Secretary General? He just said, Mao Sampa appointed me. But how did Mao Sampa appoint you? He couldn't explain. It was a matter of joke that day. So what has happened is that the judge has ruled that the conference that Mao Sampa held is valid, that Mao Sampa was justified to hold that conference. And she has pinned on her decision on 3 fundamental issues. She's saying, number one, you, the PF, didn't have a central committee. She says, because Edgar Lungu resigned as president, Mukupangona as chairperson, Inonge Wina as vice president, and Davis Mwila as secretary general, they resigned. Therefore, there was no central committee. And she even uses the word laissez-faire. You were laissez-faire in resolving the leadership issue. So Mao Sampa's action were therefore justified. You have said that he didn't follow the party constitution. You have said he didn't hold national conference. You had said he didn't have adequate numbers. She said, you haven't brought evidence to me to demonstrate that he didn't have enough people, that the national conference was not held between Central Committee and members of parliament. She says you haven't brought that evidence. So to that effect, she ruled that Mao Sampa's convention is therefore legal and he was validly elected as president. What does this mean? Number one, the PF, of course, are dismissing that judgment. We had a Central Committee when President Lungu resigned. Remember, we've always bothered to explain that the Central Committee rejected that position and said, Mr. President, we are just sending you on leave. And the Vice President, given Lubinda, who had been appointed as Vice President to replace Inonge Wina, became Vice President of the party and acting President of the Patriotic Front. So we are rejecting those assertions that the party didn't have a Central Committee. To replace Vamukupa, we got Davis Chama, the former defense minister, who was a member of the Central Committee, was appointed chairperson of the party. We got Nixon Chilangwa and appointed him as Deputy Secretary General to act as Secretary General. So the assertions by the judge that the party didn't have a Central Committee is just folly and mischief. So the PF has to decide whether they have to appeal, especially the misleading assumptions that the judge has made. Who are the beneficiaries and winners of this judgment? It is Mao Sampa. But remember, there was a development. So Mao Sampa held a proper conference according to the judge. Mao Sampa, therefore, is president. But there are other development. In court, Morgan Ngona and Robert Chabinga came to join the case, which caused the matter to go to full trial. So the defendants in this case have won the case. This is Mao Sampa, Robert Chabinga, and Morgan Ngona. The three are the beneficiaries of this judgment, but the president is Mao Sampa. Who does it benefit most will be my second question. It benefits most Mao Sampa because just 2 weeks ago, he won a case in the same court to dismiss Morgan Ngona as Secretary General. Morgan Ngona has rushed to the Court of Appeal to attempt to stay the judgment of the High Court. That has declared, threw away his injunction and threw away his case to challenge his dismissal for want of prosecution. In ordinary English, is that he failed to prosecute the case. He didn't bother to do any of the things to defend that case when he obtained the injunction. in 2024. So Miles Sampa has two judgments in that court. Today's judgment, where he has other defendants in Robert Chavinga and Morgan Ingona, and another judgment where Morgan Ingona was fired. And in all these cases, you should remember the most important person is Morgan Ingona as Secretary General. All the cases all of us have, we don't have a case with Robert Chavinga because it's inconsequential, either at the Registrar of Societies or in the law. The person who has been very instrumental in all this is Morgan Ingona. And Morgan Ingona, the court ruled that his case to have him dismissed, is too dismissed because he failed to prosecute that case. So Miles Sampa scores 2 points. One against the Chavinga group and against us, because against the Chavinga group, he scores a point where the judge ruled that the dismissal of Morgan Ingona now stands valid because his challenge, both the injunction and the main case, were thrown out. What is the way forward? There are these two issues. Number one, because the beneficiaries are three, Miles Sampa, Morgan Ingona, and Robert Chavinga. Robert Chavinga and Morgan Ingona are going to assert that after the conference, there were further developments. Miles Sampa will say, I reconciled with ECL and I removed Morgan Ingona and Robert Chavinga. And I actually even have another benefit from the court that has confirmed that decision of my removal of Morgan Ingona. Morgan Ingona and Robert Chavinga will assert that, no. After Miles Sampa reconciled with Edgar Lungu, we decided to hold our central committee and we removed and expelled Miles Sampa. That is a fresh dispute that has to legally be settled. But as things stand now, it is Miles Sampa who's president. If Robert Chavinga and Morgan Ingona have to raise that dispute, Miles Sampa is going to say, no, I removed you first. Even by the time you were convening that central committee to remove me, you stood removed, and I wrote letters to the registrar, to parliament, and I caused the letters to you. So that's a fresh dispute that will emerge. Where is Miles Sampa now? Miles Sampa is located in the group which ECL left. ECL left the vice president, Honorable Given Luwinda. Many people have been asking me, so what is the status of Honorable Given Luwinda? Because now that he lost elections, where is he? Let me address that particular matter. The substantive position of Honorable Given Luwinda is that of vice president. Even today, the vice president of the Patriotic Front is Honorable Given Luwinda. However, he was acting as president following the demise of the late president. And before that, he had been appointed by the president himself to act as president. That grouping has held an election and has elected Makebi Zulu as president of that group. And that group has Miles Sampa part of it. Okay? So here what will happen is Miles Sampa, Honorable Makebi Zulu, Honorable Given Luwinda, they have to discuss whatever they will discuss. But at the moment, although Miles Sampa is president legally of the PF, is currently Deputy Secretary General, in the process where Makebi Zulu has been elected president. So they have to discuss internally and see how they can resolve that issue. What do we expect from Chavinga? Chavinga and Morgan Ingona are going to go to their fallen central committee and said, no, this judgment benefits us because we removed Miles Sampa. I've explained that. And then in the whole large scheme, what does it mean? What it means is that the PF still stands in limbo because there are two injunctions. There's one in Kabwe, which was obtained by Morgan Ingona. There, Miles Sampa has applied that he replaces Morgan Ingona because he won the judgment in the High Court. But that may be taken by events because Morgan Ingona went to the Court of Appeal and obtained another injunction to restrain Miles Sampa, to remove him as Secretary General. So he is Secretary General of this faction which has Miles Sampa as legal president because of that injunction in the Court of Appeal. That particular matter has been said to come up on 14th April 2026. If all this is confusing you, what it means is the matter still remains in court. The PF might appeal. Even if they do not appeal, they agree with Mao Sampa. There's still those two injunctions that Mao Sampa has to fight off. Yet, the electoral calendar is ticking. On 15th April, presidential candidates have to take 100 supporters per province, 1,000. The electoral calendar has started. On 18th May, the presidential candidates have to file in. And strangely, if you have noted, the ECZ have revised that calendar, that all nominations will take place on 18th May. That's extremely strange. They expect that there will only be 3 presidential candidates. How can you set one day? Remember, the earlier calendar had put it that there will be nominations for presidential candidates from, 17th to 23rd. The revised calendar puts one day together with parliamentarians. Even the parliamentarians have to file on the same day. I have seen Dr. Cosmas Musumali, vice president in the Socialist Party, has written a strong letter to the ECZ that how can you let the nominations for presidents and parliamentarians take place one day? It's just not feasible. Why don't you separate? And also, why don't you extend the days? There are those things happening. That is the state of the PF. It's still in legal limbo. The beneficiaries and the biggest person who has won in all this is Mao Sampa. He titles himself Mbappe. For the judgment, it's a ridiculous judgment. Totally ridiculous, I can tell you. When I was speaking to one of the former senior judges, even says that judgment is a candidate to the JCC. Why don't you write to complain? Because the findings are just absurd. But as we are, you and I are obliged to respect court orders and court regulations, is that Mao Sampa is a PF president. And I will open phone lines for you to contribute, say your piece. We're discussing the issue of my dear brother Brian Munduwile earlier and the fuel shortage. If you have any views about that, also there, you are welcome. Let's open the phone lines and let's have that discussion.
But what is the problem? Let him talk. Listen, let him talk. What's your problem? No, you let him talk. No, don't point at him like that. No, why is he pointing at him like that? You should have respect. No. Put him in the one. No, let's point at him like that. Anyway, let him talk to him. What's the problem?
The Human Rights Watch International issued a report last week here in New York, and they expressed concern that Zambia may not have free and fair elections because political opponents are being denied the right to express themselves. Political parties are being deplatformed. What we are hearing is not good, where they've targeted certain political parties. And we understand that they are determined that the PF will not be on the ballot at all cost. And that's why you are seeing these legal maneuvers where mercenary judges have just delivered that issue. They are determined that the PF should not be on the ballot. They're also targeting people like Brian Munduwile, as you have seen. He's been all fine. All of a sudden, 5 years later, they remember that Brian Brian Munduvile is a contractor. Now they remember that there are roads he did or he did not do 5 years later, only because he's now set his sight on the presidency. All of us have been harassed and arrested, and the Human Rights Watch International report summarizes this very well. Other reports, such as the United Nations Human Rights Council report, the United States country report, the State Department one country report on Zambia, have all affirmed the state where Zambia is. The lines are open. My phone was off. You can now call. Nipa Friday lelo. We let people rest. So if you have anything to say, make your contributions. The line is open. We were discussing the PF judgment that has said Mao Sampa's conference was genuinely held, was validly held. That's what the judgment has said. I saw the write-up on Kalemba that Robert Chabinga wins case now. The case was only resolving the issue of conference. Was it genuinely held? And it has held that the conference that was held by Mao Sampa is a valid conference. That's where it ends. It has not discussed what has happened, what will happen to Mao Sampa or Robert Chabinga or Morgan Ngona. And again, you have to look at it in totality with the other cases. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Hello, this is from Livingston.
Bamwamwa Bombeni.
Only that I'm grounded.
There's no fuel in Livingston.
Yeah, diesel. I Facebook diesel. But something.
MQI. Yeah.
I've been looking for it from 10 hours. There's no fuel completely. The trucks we're grounded.
Oh my God.
We're grounded. And when you ask about filling stations, when they might have it, they are saying likely Sunday, likely. Sunday, likely. So, I don't know what we are going to do. Maybe if we were to come up border towns, we can try to maneuver to Botswana and Zimbabwe. But I can imagine in these who are in far-flung areas, it's a serious problem.
London Poyama Wangu, thank you on the fuel.
I think like by Garungu Varandire, our guys are to pay the PF. So it was even good that we did that conversion on no name, so that we can dive on any vehicle that we feel it will be fit going on it. Because all like our judgments are, what are they trying to do? Judiciary integrity na ipwa. What kind of a country is this? So, open the politics how na the government. And I don't know nobody gas very for which the very gas very for which open the government power. Fish very for want to talk shepo. Fish want to what do they want people to remember them for?
Yes.
Because there is too much poverty, Ambassador. There is too much poverty in the country. The other issue I have to call is unity amunan unity am PF. I am my election ya pitria. I understand the political ama bruises here or there. That is no more. The thing is that we Edgar Ungware Bombane team and the Mutu of Mineko Edgar Apana tubikapo replacement makebizuru. Busheto afiro kusuminati makebizuru na wina. Chito afiro kusuminati resaimia choraboy. Position femu ya rubene paria. Ila experience ili mulira central committee ya mbana barungwe. Ishterari behind makebizuru. Makebizuru terubulirwa kwena ena. Rubulirwa chalo. There's some musarafe. No, but there is a lot of frustrations among some of the people that participated. Yango?
Yes.
So, yeah. So you find that me, I'm very certain unity is at stake in the party, and now I wish that I saw Makebizuru making efforts to meet some of the candidates who participated, but abantu tabara pora ba Mwamba. We need the unity in the party. Let us rally behind Makebizuru. Makebizuru pakawati walungu ale inda na we na pakemfwa olubarupia banda pakawati wale inda na Makebizuru pakawala banda bafwa. Uyu muntu bali mchetekere. Ile myaka palendera balungu na barupia banda. Misho muntu naishi bechalo. Naishi babantu abasoma n'ababi mwe wakwe. So firabala kateka alete omuntu mpepe nishitamu chetekera. And Makebizuru is a very humble man who takes advice from everyone. So in a members based on PF, it's not about the personal interest, it's about the national interest. We are doing this for our country, not for our personal interest. Let us see Makebizuru yekatakule kwangaya na muna wali take up wali kubomba beka muna inchalo kochile. That's what it is the whole of Zambia. And then she went about this channel I don't know. So Makebizuru alikuwa tumutima wabantu. Therefore umuntu kwetoruse. Therefore umuntu ule muno munanko ngo muntu. Noti umuntu munanko alifuafira no kushika.
Thank you, Amwewa. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions. Quiet, can you stay increase volume? I think no mumbi piriaba. Mayo, mwabombeni. Quiet.
Enchitam kwaita tamwabombeni ara tureni na mabasi tatukweta mafiwe ora kuti waseke fire chitika buchalo muno.
Yeah, nama min basi na ofiwe yala hapo.
Like kuno kuchongwe ndemieva the filling stations along Great East Road, no fuel. Very soon takwave na mini basi twalambo kweishe njinga shave ishikulu. No baba bashimwamba ushena mumwishiba uli omuntu bachita bando police vehicle lero
ni director general former director general Victor Nyasulu Quiet.
Yes, Victor Nyasulu ukumuposa like that is not a thug, a very educated person. Ero da mwishibe chalo fochiri. Nangu satana aka ejoina ku UPND wakachita celebrate. Bantu barefu ati abadi bonse. Nombodi na mano. Ngakuti vachita treat Nyasulu fidia. What about ye ababa mushani na bwadi? Abere mkuba join at the 11th hour. Hello, yesterday, ina shirefano kulanda pwe fifi ya kumakoti, bashimwamba muleyibukisha. Inena lelanda from the word go. Andisha lelanda fye, bakadabwa talasala pukapako. Efiri no kuchitika, mingarato pa mingarato. Ababa UPND ve monati warishipula, until surprised. Ama statement sare fumakuri ba kasaru ba Electoral Commission of Zambia. Is that his job? But it's regulate. Then I'm afraid to conduct my elections. But what they are issuing if you are registrar of society, what do they have to do with that? Olochonde chita caution. Fuema supporters, aba abamundubire, aba abamakebi, aba abalubinda, aba abachiba kambwiri, lekeni tuleko kwambana. Bushoko mfuashani, iwole pontera mundu, let's say inende pontera mundubire. Nadiranda popari mundubire omukumu, mwatara mwamfuana bweke shapu. And in the way, Fiabantu, through experience, to Irala and Desi, Vipadi, any candidate, Ushoka Shala Quisa, Ule Ponta, Eroyo no le supporter, De Pontera Mundu, Viro Makebi Fiam Fuana Chican Shape, Nangunde Pontera Baruvinda, Erovako Mfuane, Iwachika Kushape. Ero chimbi chimpa puishe ni ababa chitire petition. Makebi was not part of the process of that elections. Eva lechta hando. Ba Mausampa is our SG political. Eva lefipe kanya fidia. And the constitution yesu me. I was a stakeholder in holding the party constitution ya PF na Shiva, because I think I'm the longest serving Secretary General mu party yesu. Takwa baba Mwamba spare wa constitution, uku chita petition ama results ya my elections ya dea salide Makebi after ba commissioner na ba chita announce. They were supposed to do that before the elections were announced. What constitution are they following? Because once a Padaniva MCC. So we wait and see what will happen. Eroba Mudoro. We withdrew, just like Mao Sampa, my brother also withdrew on his own. Petition, which they called the sham. Mao Sampa Edatara and Dilefio. Still withdraw out of dignity of the secretariat. That's my understanding. How can he change today at a register petition? Allah, umuine wa mingara toba mwamba mwarishi batiniresa. Efyo tupanga ifwe as human beings. Amapange Yesu, emapange akwalesa. Bashimwamba abantu mu Zambia, I've never seen abantu kupepe fibale pepa. Shatara monapu. Mulino kumonefiri no kuchitika mu Zambia. Ero ba mundubire na Makebi. Ababale ita Makebi ati adi rusa ma elections kumalambo. Are you aware that ba mundubire ba adi rushire kumpoloko? So not once like Makebi, but twice. That pa. That's why tuira ponte finto fota tuishive. Because bakapaka fike nshita bakomfuana chika tushape. Let us pray for unity of purpose, because we only have one enemy, the abrogators of our Zambian constitution, which they sought to uphold. Mwakwata na speaker avaresha na parliament, and we are ashamed. And we say we are following Commonwealth standards. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contributions. Endita.
East London, South Africa.
Oh yes, Carol. Make your contributions.
Ya ndefo kulanda pyachawe ifiretika kumwesu utafirewama nomba iko kwebekala chalo kwema Zambians kumone ofo bale futula abafyashi kuba posa kumonte ukafija na abantu bonse bale tamba nomba iko tuleti poshani pali firetika ono firetika chachini kwa kwa basa pingula tio ba Mao Sampa ba president ba PF olo nchiba mayo sampa bali landati atibena tabaka chiteko nani kali itule bale angata banani usha ino chitapo opportunity because nangu bale umemingala to aisha chimingala to so ipo kwe bantu kwetu aisula mezo nokumona nishi iyalale ngati tubabwekeshe kwaba alo nabena abalete emingala to balete emingala to shamsango sham because abalete emingala to tabali pona background abantu balekwaya balepo okupera chance makepi gulu so ifyo so abantu bafire bayishi bamone ni chalo ko chidera abena kainde tabalenaka tabuli petro muchalo tabane kubale state chonse abo bali yakale so abantu bafire bapekanya nomba besu ya menzo ukumona nokubika lesa fantage eto nachafu angandi bashimwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Precious Inonge Mleta from Livingstone.
Yes, Precious Inonge, make your contributions.
Yes, first I want to talk on what happened there at the ACC where Brian Mdunge went. You know, I really felt bad to see that that man was he was mistreated in that manner and in front of Honorable. And the Honorable Brian Mdunge, he didn't even show the care. Coming to this issue of PF, you know, when I told the nation myself that the President Vakandech might not mean well, it is him making Mingalato right now. When we told the people that they should not support that evil bill, you can see what happened in Kalumbila there, where they can even bury a woman without the family knowing. All those are the things that they want now to be doing. And the people of Zambia, they are in darkness, they don't know. What is in that bill? They want to be hiding into criminality, and that's the truth. And trying by all means so that they can remain in power. So President Vakande Chema, he is pretending like he's not involved in whatever Wachavinga is doing. But every time when Wachavinga comes live, he tells the nation that they are in alliance with President Vakande Chema. But when I published those letters, which was saying that Vakande Chema is trying to destabilize leadership of the PF government, he sent me in prison that I made false documents. And when I was sent in prison, I served and I finished my days. I've been appealing to him to say, I accuse you of being behind the gassing and also to try to destabilize leadership of PF government. Show that leadership. Patriotic Front is an anchor party. So if this Patriotic Front is not going to be on the ballot, how can you deny that he is not him who is behind everything? If they are going to fail to arrest the gassers, how can we believe that indeed it was the PF who was gassing innocent Zambians? Because he has got instrument of powers and he has got all the powers to instruct officers to arrest the original criminals. Because the criminals is protecting, those are the same criminals who are still taking law in their hands even now, and they are still doing a lot of criminality. So please, wise concerned citizen, we beg you in God's name, don't allow the UPNG to mistreat the people of Zambia. Don't give them any chance. No matter the Mingalato they are going to play, please, we ask International Criminal Court of Law, let them come in and save the people of Zambia. God bless you. God bless Zambia. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and your contributions.
Embira ya mushita bayasukira.
Kwa iba never had me landeni po.
Mkwai. Apa tufiretu ababa salapoka sana noti na panono. Mkwai. Na totera kumashuya ntu bachifumu kulanda wa mayowa mumbipiri na wambi abashala. Kanabesa tufiretu abantu abakwikatana pakati apana limona ko aliko tu shani utwa kwamba limbyukula chitawa kula sontane minwe chiriaine parwandi pali ndakai na lichita withdraw mukusontane minwe echo ndero mbapa kuikatana mkwai echo ndero mba kuikatana echo nalitotera last time weroba mundu bile bali mu maseozi naisa mona honorable Markebi Zulu ekwali naisa mona honorable Given Ruvinda ekwali baikatana na mumino ekyo nderomba okutira tifa tufire twayikatana kintu kimwe kyabulanda sana ekire mufisho obubi sana kana besa bamwamba wezo na mwebekana kyalo okulamona fira na kimona lero ku SCP kana besa okwisa ikata batata balya okwisa abaposa mu motoka ekyakutira ati nenkumba tetuyikite muli buli omusango so ine nderomba bena Zambia okutira ati wonse kyapamu natwikatane tufumye kwa Kainde Ekirema natwikatane mwebe na Zambia bonse pandu 5 years na imbi kumupera Kainde Ekirema nishini mfashe yesu 5 years na imbi kumona fire kitika bamwamba wesu awe ni mfwa yesu so ene nderomba bonse kutuba baba balubinda kutukwa baba bamakebizulu kutukwa ba fweba yana ba brand mundubire okutira twikatane chapa mofe tumufumye po uyu Kainde Ekirema tafiweme bamwamba tafiweme sana sana kuyimwena fenamenso yenu apa bamwambe pomwe you can't like it so ine ekulomba kwandi so ine lyashiria kwamba okulanda pali makebizulu kwati nalilibikana aside uko kutalisana nshipano wakulanda kupali nonshita wakulanda pali ba given rubinda tetimu temwe nangu panono wakulanda pali bonse fyaba bantu then twalaisa kulyashiria bakana besaba sampa mouse abenga bale mona ma videos byantunale fumye pakati palya nali shokutira ati ba mouse sampa tabayishire in good faith via PF bifona balungu tabalafu nangwafu tabalungu bafu. So, Babon Sampa has been playing in Mingalato. He has been playing in Mingalato. Ukutirati limbi ala kwanisha kusenda abantu bonse.
Awe badmen awe nshamisu mini chef yo. Ifo chila bushutwikala na Mao Sampa na mma meeting. Iyo muifikoko. Muifikoko.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
Tandiwe Keti Shingoma is my name.
My dear analyst and researcher, make your contributions.
Yes, Ambassador. I just want to thank President Hakainde Hichilema for what he has turned the police service into. We now are seeing the police brutality which he condemned himself. MPF. And what we are seeing is even more than what used to happen in PF. And continue doing that because beating citizens. What the police are doing, beating citizens. So August 13th, they will vote for you because they love to be brutalized by the police. Police brutality in a democratic country, Zambians love it. I can assure you, Zambia, do more of it, beat more citizens, arrest them more, since this makes you happy. It makes you happy, do more. You can't handle a person like Wanyasulu the way he was handled. We know you to be the police service. But now, the police has turned into a UPND operative, driving the agenda of President Hakainde Hichilema. The UPND count members are very happy with what happened to the Banyasulu. Imwe, this is not the Zambia I knew. Police ukuya imyafyo omuntu mumusango ulya abena Zambia. If they can do that to that man, where does it leave you? You and I are not safe, and this is the Zambia that HH Aletutwalako, a police, not a service now. This is a police force. Police brutality is the order of the day. The police, even if the police is not happy with how the citizens are conducting themselves. Don't they know the right procedures? Why should somebody be manhandled like that by police? Kudos. You are doing well for a church.
Thank you.
Come 13th August, we are going to vote for him again because police brutality is what Zambians love. Abash police brutality.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Nwamunkonge.
Yes, Wamunkonge.
Ambassador, tinalava mutu mpera kwa namba ya wamwe wangu wapera kwa namba yangu.
Okay.
Wamwe wa Livingstone.
Okay.
Emgwa Ambassador nina raranda ko first patch pani. Ukulingana nese mulondorere okweba lugwalo luli mu maboko yaba mausampa. Then ukwisalingana nechpani ba mausampa niwa general secretary ba Cape Zulu niwa president niwa given Luvinda niwa vice president nabandi bakonka kuba 16 mukandira bashani. So pali kano akashita epo ipepala liri mu maboko yaba general secretary para balelolera imirango nashinga report. So kutina romba ku president wa Cape Zulu apandera nda pa mukati muchipanishiranda ofya amapepala ya president mukati muchipani as general secretary na ba president wa Cape Zulu wa vice president.
Yep, Tukabamunkonge, you can call back. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
My name is Lungwaliki, calling you from Osaka.
Yes, Lungwalik.
Yes. I want to make a contribution. Mwamba, PF is a party that has lawyers in it. That has people of all trades and knowledge. For them to continue like this, it makes me wonder. Comrade Mwamba, few weeks from now, people will be registering their candidates in ECZ. Now, if the PF, the party that everyone wanted, the party that everyone thought is the vehicle for removing President Hakainde Hichilema, is still fighting this battle today. Are we really sure that we are the PF will go on ballot? Truly, it's worrisome, Comrade Mwamba. It's very worrisome. What the PF and other people needs to do is to join hands with President Harikalava. President Harikalava is the brother for PF. Wherever he's talking about, you hear him, you will not insult PF, he is not bad-mouthing PF. Few days ago, we saw him with President Makebi trying to put things together. I think the PF should understand and know to say the UPND is playing on their mind. It will be too late for them to realize what to do next, and by then, they will have nowhere to go. So for now, my contribution, Comrade Mwamba, is let the PF join hands with President Harikalava, because as far as I know, the elections in democracy, the winner is not always the person who is voted by the majority. It's the person who is just voted, who has used Mingala to just win the few individuals. Because take, for instance, the elections that happen in Chawama, the elections that happen everywhere else. When you take the numbers for the winner and those for those that have lost, you put them together, you will know to say the majority didn't vote for that winner. It's the same that happens in Kasama. So it's the same Mingalato that the UPND want to play. They are fueling in and selling in Mundubile. At some point, Comrade Mwamba, I doubt if Mundubile, what they are doing is marketing Mundubile so that he divides votes for the PF. All those things they know to say, we are marketing him. And they are doing that because they know to say we are dividing vote for these, for the opposition. Because when we are talking about the opposition today, Comrade Mwamba, we are talking about Ali Kalaba, President Makebi, and the few. So if these leaders that are of PF roots divide the votes, HH is going to win. So it's now time, it's not too late. Let Makebi, let Mndubile, let everyone go and sit down with President Alikalaba. So who leads? Take for instance the instance for Edgar Chagwalungu. He came in and he became a president. You all supported him. And at the end of the day, it was the PF in power. I think that's my contribution, Comrade Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There's been development in the UPND. I've seen a letter posted by Gary Nkombo where he's accepting his removal as chairperson for elections. It has been posted on his page, but it's showing 2027. So Gary Nkombo, please kindly correct your letter. It's showing 27 February 2027. I've also put this letter on my page, and it says he was removed in February, and the new appointee is Honorable Ikando Mfalali, I think former Senanga MP. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and tell us your...
Good evening. Good evening, thank you.
Good evening.
My name is Daliso Timbo. I'm calling you from Nwansha. My contribution, first and foremost, is I would want to applaud Makebi Zulu and President Hadi Kalaba. You know, coming in together and having some liaison in order to forge ahead so that we can have the much needed unity and see how best we can work together as opposition, bringing our heads together, because this is what we need so that we can work to see that we have a better Zambia, unlike the Zambia that we are seeing today. We've witnessed so many injustices that have been happening. We've witnessed so many suffering. Truck drivers are suffering. Marketeers are suffering, the youths are so much unemployed. But I think it is about time that all opposition political parties, you know, there are certain things at this point where we are, Mwamba. Even if we were to go to court, we try and find and fight. Looking at the people we are dealing with, we are not capable of having to attain what we so much desire, but rather let us recognize and look at the people that are going to help us. That's why for me, at this moment, I want to applaud the decision that have been taken by President Makebi Zulu and President Hari Kalaba, that they need to come together and see how best they can unite for the good cause of the Zambian people. The Zambian people have time and again spoken about wanting a united opposition so that they could remove the UPND government that has so much troubled the people. For me, I think it is about time that people should start looking beyond personal gains, but rather look at the critical aspects that are needed to show the good governance and leadership that people expect of Zambia. The Zambian people are the people that we need to save. We don't need to save individuals. And as we make the decisions, let us look at the majority of the Zambian people that need the peace, that need the justice, that need good health services, that need a little basic necessity that can be afforded, unlike what we are seeing today.
Thank you, my dear sister. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Good evening, Ambassador. This is Anonymous from the land of AI.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, sir. So just a couple of comments, sir. Thank you again for this wonderful show where we can air our views. I think I'll start with a side comment and say, see, we are living in a political dispensation where when you see a politician walking freely on the streets in Zambia, you lose trust in them. So that is why you might find that some people, unite. Some of us are a bit hesitant because when you see a politician free, you begin to wonder, is this person in good books with HH? So you begin to wonder. Just a side note for people out there to keep thinking about. Let me come back to the patriotic front. I want to say that the PF is not just a document at the registrar's office. It's not just a document at the registrar's office. It's the people on the ground. It's the voters. The green ghost lives inside the people. So when people say, oh, PF, what are you talking about? We are still here. They can get the paper, but in Makebi Zulu, a president, and we are voting for him. They can't stop us. It's not like we're checking out OPF, so let's not be cheated that what we need to do as Zambian people is to unite behind the leader. Let's not cause this feeling that, that's hopelessness. Let's not bring hopelessness in the opposition. Okay? Rather, let's show them that whether it is the small and known party that we use, it will go. If once NCP said that we are supporting, we want Makebi to stand, they went and nyonga the NCP. So other parties, they say, no, come and work, and there's no nyongering happening. You begin to actually wonder what is going on. So, Ambassador, I want to say that Makebi has the structures of the Patriotic Front. Makebi Zulu has the structures of the Patriotic Front, and that is what matters. The election on the 21st guaranteed that. Makebi has command of the members of the Patriotic Front. He is the strongest opposition leader today. We can count from the minimum 1.8 million people that we had in the last election. Those are already on his books. So now we just have to build on top of that. There's no political party, no leader who wants to stand, whether as independent or with a party or whatever, that can reach that. So those who would like to partner with us should come very, very humbly and we discuss. And Makebi Zulu has shown magnanimity and he has shown that he's willing to partner with others. Let's not have this notion of disparaging the PF like it's finished. Even the courts are failing to lock us down. You will see very soon we will have the victory. The PF is still very much alive. Even if we go on a different ticket, but we are not a hopeless people. We are very much alive and we know what we want. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Ambassador. You are talking to Mr. Chifunda here.
Yes.
From Lusaka, Zambia.
Yes, Mr. Chifunda.
Yes. I'm so proud of the work that you have been doing lately, and we are behind you. Basically, continue doing what you are doing. I want to raise few concerns that I've seen in this country over the last 4 years that has bothered me. Firstly, this government that we are in has failed to deliver in any promise that they have ever said. We were in load shedding for 4 years straight. And now we don't even have any trace of load shedding. Meaning that if these people win, we're going to go back.
Has he hung up?
Been so heartless. They have arrested almost everyone that I know that is a potential president. From Kambwili, everyone that is prominent has been arrested. And today we saw what happened at the anti-corruption. Where were they all this time? that they might bring Brian Munduvile to police today over things that happened in 2015, just because the other day he stood against what they think is not okay. This will not take UPND anywhere. I've seen Wakandile defecting, coming to the UPND. It shows you clearly now that they have really failed. So my advice to you is, let's run with Makebi Zulu. Makebi Zulu is an anointed man of God that God has chosen for this country. There is no man that will be able to stand against that guy. So that's why he has not even been touched until now. He's the guy who made them stop from what they were trying to do with the body of Edgar Lungu, because the hand of God is on him. I am a man who knows him personally, a friend and a brother to him. And today I decided to call because it's too much. Mr. Mwamba, you will see, for as long as God lives, the mistakes that these men are making, you don't need to fight them. They will fight themselves and chase themselves away from this country. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, the line is busy. Let's keep on taking the calls, as many as possible, so that we hear from you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
This is Alfred calling from Lusaka.
Yes, Alfred. Make your contribution.
To Mr. Zambo, this newly promoted Commissioner of Police for Lusaka.
Yes.
Just an advice. He's too excited. He should know that political power is so temporal. He is a professional. He can serve anyone even after this UPND is out of power. He should turn.
Have you? What's happening to that? Hello. The numbers are hanging. Yes, my brother, I think you are back.
I was on hold. You are putting on hold. Yes. So Mr. Zambo must turn down and execute his duties professionally. He has got his family. It won't be good for him to lose a job. And you know, you can't please a politician if you are a professional. If you try to please a politician when you are a professional, then you are trying to mess up your career and you are trying to mess up yourself. Politicians can be brutal on you. When UPND government is kicked out of power, I'm telling him they can come for him and mess him up. So he shouldn't try by all means to please disappointing powers, but he should execute his duties within the confinement of the law and regulations of the police service. Manyasuru did nothing wrong deserving such kind of a treatment or a reaction or a response by his troops. That was wrong, totally wrong. Manyasuru is a parent. You can't treat him in such a manner. No. Then coming to Judge Zulu, how did she become a judge? Same things, trying to please the politicians. Where are we going as a country? We have been addressing these issues for so long.
Oh, that line is cutting. Hello, caller. Let's go to another one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Ambassador ndeko sele shakusha na Zambia kiramwale era ndokwe pangeni ntungulushi for president nomba natkwata ba president ba Maket Zulu na ba vice president natkwata mu chipani ba given winda na ba general secretary natkwata ba Mausampa. So tamukwele mwambo kusakamana special vehicle ta ishupile kule mbafye lero namwe baba munchendesha kusana mwishi bya tintungulushi oko shiri bendero mbako na kuli ba president ba Cape Zulu kubika pona ba vice president ba given Lubinda bamoneko ama structure ngo yabiri yolenga tandaliramo mu lusako mu bali chararanga nako nabali okutali bamoni okweba abantu aba bali pamo pantu abarwani besu bara preaching ifya bufi na papene bakalemba na bachitapa brishi ukweba ti ba mausampa ila judgment ni fake na babika kwa news abantu balembere ako batu mausampa baba pere chipani na babika ko ponse fake pakweba ti bachite disturb abantu orona aromba kona kumunanji uyu umunanja timbira ya mushi na umona na uisa pali ba Mwambapa wamba nokula koseresha unity lero nde kulomba ko ba Mwamba wali bafunisha ama video ashawama ngaba fyashi besu ayaye ngara turengo kumona kwa chilimba PF tatwa ikatana so ufuyo wapanga yambya ama video aya kulomba obwelero kuba fyashi besu ba Mwamba yara wafunya ulela nda pali ba mawa mumbipira ati baranda bwino lero before tawara pera preach ya unit first ifunye we mwine fira warufyenye walombo bwerero kuba fyasha papali ino nshita turefo emibere isuma taturefo abantu kura tsonta bafule bare tsonta ba PF aba muchinshi aba ikatana aba pero muchinshi kuri bana mayo kuntungushisha barubinda kuri ba mausampa aba fyashi besunga bare kusana tatufule turepone namo fure tuareka aba fyashi wapushama ama issues abenenga aba fyashi oro baisa kuli fwe bana chomwe bena Zambia pona pera Cape Zulu into president Rubinda vice president general secretary Mbappe one man Mausampa na pera mkwai.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwamba Mwabombeni, the nameless, calling from no man's land.
Yes, yes.
Bamwamba. Yes, Bamwamba Mwabombeni. Yeah, Mkwai. Bamwamba, I'm just going to combine the two. Yeah, first and foremost, the world is watching. We are watching everywhere. What happened today was something very, very bad, yeah. When they had to drag somebody who is so educated, like in Kumba. We are watching, the whole world is watching. Now, this actually makes me realize with what had happened, with our Helen, the one who was murdered, because no one was there to help her. But then you find that a lot of police officers are surrounding just one single person, which is very sad. The ambassador, we breathe through your platform. And I have a completely different subject. In fact, I'm going to talk about...
Is a line cut?
Still bleeding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Continue,
yes.
You are there.
I'm saying that my heart has bled and it is still bleeding profusely here. I'm a woman who is talking on behalf of every woman who at this time of speaking is being abused. Bamwamba, every sex is born of a woman. A woman is a real caregiver. The death of Helen has shocked the entire world. It has taken me so long to come down. Yeah. That such pain she endured has left a scar in most of us. Those involved in her killing should be harshly punished regardless of anything. In my view, Bamwamba, they need mental checkups. Where on earth can such happen in a so-called Christian nation? Parents, where are you, parents? Where are you? Why have we turned down our morality? What education are we giving to young children to become good citizens? Bamwamba, it's so sad. Coming back, to the politicians, I concur with Bamama Mumbi, Piri. Let's put the hands together. Ngatapabe unit Bamwamba I watched you yesterday, when you were featured on one of the TV platforms. Most of the people who got Bamwamba, they were preaching on coming together. This is the time we need to pull up our socks. We know exactly what's happening. The world is watching.
Thank you very
Lord
much, Maya.
help us.
Thank you.
Okay,
May our
thank
soul
you.
rest in eternal peace. The death of that lady, Helen, has disturbed all of us. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you, Bamwamba. This is Sinyangwe Dani.
Yes, Mr.
Bamwamba, I'll take your words. I think 6 months ago you said, how I'm advising you Zambians, especially patriotic front members, PF can make you or destroy you. I think these were the words I would say today, to say, look, I am thankful to God to alia convention to asala no ungatungulula PF. Now, the thing is, once abantu balishwe fyachitika mu PF, we know why PF is in this situation. But loisa na tufunya mulya, na tusalila netungulushi Makebi Zulu. Once abantu abatemwa PF, tien tufileke fili ufo tule umfoma judges and everything, tuiposa kona amano, apanomba, tieni tule ya na ba Makebi Zulu, na bali abalefu kukonka ba Makebi Zulu. Tien tuikatane pamo, because hii country, if ingina afilu bana Bamwamba, mwaneni Bamwamba, uliom kashano vaipe kulia kunofu western. If we have these policemen that are mining political opponents like the way they are doing, do you think that lady would have died in Northwestern because that lady was paraded in the streets and the police were not there to protect the life of that innocent person? And then there he is today. We have a president who, or what he has done in the past 5 years, or I can see the development that he's brought to the Zambian people, is for him now he's got so many doctorates. While the Zambian people are more divided, the Zambian people don't have anything to give to their children. All my appeal is, mwebantu bonse muleo mfuatieni tulande tuikatane pamoja na bali abena abantu mulefu okuba president. Let's work together, because if we don't work together, what lies ahead of us? You've seen what is happening. Do you want this to continue? Thank you, Bamwamba. Lesale Mpala Lyonse. God bless Zambia. And let us not stop praying for the Lungu family, because no family should ever go for what they have gone through, ever in this history of Zambia. God bless Zambia.
Yeah, many people are telling me that they've seen an article by Kalemba saying ruling on 24th, rules that 24th October PF convention was legal, and that Robert Chabinga is president. No, Kalemba must apologize. I've read the judgment. Nowhere has that judgment said that. In fact, the judgment discusses Mao Sampa's election and then argues with the facts that was presented by the Patriotic Front. That kind of misleading by such a huge platform is extremely dangerous. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Yeah, Bamwamba. Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Webster calling from Garden House. Yeah, I just want to contribute about what is happening in country. So, in Nikamba Paliva President Harkalava. So President Harkalava is one leader who's open to each and every politician background. As we can see, Mazomazo wanashukumana na President PF
Oh, that line is cut. It's not. Lines.
Does.
Oh, yeah, you are still there. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so barikala kabatanka as valida batu, I think Zambia hii ingachinje and state katizane as opposition leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go. I think Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions. Mwabombeni.
Yeah, when mina kopa building. Chakubalira po congratulations kuri ba Mausamba okwe bati ba party president ba PF kuri ya faction ya yali. Nomba na chwa mukusango kwe bati ba Mausamba eba kwetya maka kulia ya control na bali. Lero ninga bachita advise ba Mausamba. Ama politics man numbers. Bake kale na ngona na chabinga wine. Koze bakwetya maka bakalanchanye na bena. Bada abantu bakenderese na bena chapa mukairi ndi balete ama politics na bena bakwire bate ama politics be bakwatiri mbiba bakwati babasura bada guys babiri bangona na chabinga bakese betafe pambali bakabazembireke bakalanchanye na bena so that na tonso to tushere ko tunkofyo tunono to tukapwe then ngabale moneka kwati bali kuside ya ruling party kasi ne baleba wombi bakakwata ama parties yabi indi vyeko bakafwaye kuri group ya ba president Makebi Zulu so that ngakwaisa bali ama nomination cause hapana batea indi ya PF original PF limbi kuti basa bakwati babachinga so bakakwata ama parties.
Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contributions.
Ambassador Mwabombeni ba John Mabo kuno kuitali mkwai.
Mkwai ba Mwabombeni.
Mkwai, thank you. I hope mkishobuno no kwa ambassador.
Yole salet sunga mwantu wakwalesa.
We hope accompany kumisunga. These unprecedented times today kalamo. Mkwai. When ambassador take contribution kwete fedi kusho. Mkwai ine na ishivati Didia Atlantic slave trade. Although to former Africans to the land atrocities were committed against us. Then Kurava land to former reparations to them for Nagana added to the table Shanshan United Nations Shanshan. No, but royal which we played because in on our shows or in our lands, those chiefdoms, kingdoms. No, this ship. No, some deals were made, usually with traditional chiefs. Bracelets, gunpowder, shan, go defeat that other tribe, so that you give them as slaves to us. So we played a role, and it's important to recognize this. That's why in a patriotic front, confusion maybe a ruling party the patriotic front. Ama enablers niba nani within the patriotic front. I think enmity is within because aba lingero gutira maybe we're ruling if they play the part. But when shogusta interfere in internal issues here patriotic front niba nani from within patriotic front. And I know Kilama Zambian Zavengi, they are even aware of some of these internal issues here patriotic front. And we still see some of those same people who were treacherous, even when the PF were in power. Wherever Kandile, treacherous people, because at the core, but PF, the leadership of PF is patriotic. But whatever Kandile, and still, but were embraced. So now we can see all these wrangles were deepened. Then when I progress, council Makebi Zulu Babasala, then Kudiva, Honorable Ruinda Kudiva, Bamunduvire. But what's happening on the ground? I want to focus on a true leadership within the PF. Nefrika cleaned. No, but are willing to start clean up without if I could start the political allegiance, prerequisite to be part of the elite patriotic front. Ambassador. Because as long as I am wrangles, you are giving way to the ruling maybe to interfere with other people, I don't think people will give you another mandate to rule that country ever again. Although could kwaba hysteria chanshani, but abantu pakuvota bakamona abantu tababa serious. After all we did for them, we are not happy with you. You lost by 1 million. But it's not that because people didn't like you, they didn't like. Confusion. So no, Babantu want to know, do you deserve to be brought back? Because so if there is a way, at least now I'm a new leadership to clean up the PF. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
This is Sam from Kaputa.
Yes, my dear brother, make your contributions. Make your contribution, my brother.
Cho nderomba kufecha kweva ati twapapata honorable komwafuma ekutali apature ya EPP twafueni fie mukutukolonganika twakweva ati tubyabaikatana ngeifile mwatupere ntungu shipandu etu twalerolera so tupumirenya abantu pa ground bese mukupeba amashibu kulingana nefo banshike abaje mwe bali kumuru so twapapata imvwe tulirete kumipera amavoti kulingana nefyo mwebene mwanshike kumuru so tulangeni fyo kulingana nefyo tupotufire twaendera sinzi mwali tupera bamakebi zuru eba president so tutumireni fya abantu pa ground abakwe bati bese mukutulanga nombe fotufire twaenda emashu ife ineyo ninga kwato kuranda pae.
Thank you very much. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hi, Ambassador. This is Queen Pumi.
My co-host. Make your contribution, my sister.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I just want to give you credit for always having the interests of Zambians at heart. I think it is clear the whole country can see that you have good intentions for this country. Last week, you were attacked publicly over the decision that was made for the convention, and you stood your ground. And look here where we are today with this judgment. So what if, we were misled or waited until today? Then what would have happened? So I'd like just to congratulate you and also ask the other senior officials, I think, to take responsibility. I think, sometimes it's good just to take responsibility and apologize, and, to show honesty and just apologize to say, okay, Mwamba, you were right, I was wrong. But it's not fair that these people who called publicly, almost humiliating you, to go quiet when exactly what you told them has happened. My next point is on this police brutality. I also want to speak to Imbira Yamushi, what Bamunkonge said. This young man, he has issued very weird videos disrespecting people. And then he comes and says, today, and then in the same breath, he starts attacking somebody else. I think we need to be serious, okay? We are not children. It's a matter of life and death. I'm a politics. I outraged. We can't be playing politics like you are talking to little kids. You have to walk your talk. If you mean you're not going to attack anyone, don't attack anyone. You can't be saying I'm not going to attack anyone and in the same breath, you start attacking somebody else. No. Police brutality, it was sad to see the man bundled up. He's a human being. It's just like, wow. But in a way, I'm kind of happy because it confirms all these reports to the human rights watchers, to the UN. This is in public display on global media platforms. Everybody is seeing. So I think by UPND, they are shooting themselves in the foot and they're just proving all the reports right. It is sad. This is total bullying again. A woman was killed. I am told actually she went to the chief's palace I don't know, allegedly, the woman went to the chief's palace before she died to seek refuge, and she was kicked away, chased off, and then I don't know what happened. The chief couldn't even protect her. We saw a chief going to a market to close the market. Where was the police? But we see police bundling up one man just for a political opponent. I even saw
Queen Pumi, you are right. The woman was taken to the palace, but Chief Mselo has issued a statement that he was not present at the palace when they brought the woman. But to some extent, you are right, because the palace still is an institution.
Yes.
Someone should have protected the woman.
Exactly.
But the chief has said that he was unavailable when they took the woman there. They are the Pontius Pilate, where they take a victim and the victim was not helped.
Yeah, it's really sad. I really feel sad as a woman. You know, it could have been me.
Yeah,
it could have been my sister, my daughter, you know, so I think we need to do better on that. And then lastly, the issue of Bamunduvile, you know, it's just sad to see how the case can be brought up after 5 years. Again, it proves political persecution. So why were they sitting on this case all this time? You know? And I feel for Bamunduvile. Right now, I was just sitting and thinking, you know, Bamunduvile knew this thing hanging on his head. He was just waiting for the day that he would be summoned. Can you imagine this? That this is a rule of terror. It's a terrorizing for Bamunduvile. And, you know, I even feel sorry for him. I'm like, he's really strong, you know, because we heard these things. But now to see it in black and white, that for 5 years, these people knew this and they were holding it and just waiting. It's like 2 pounds. You know, it's the same thing that's happening to the Lungu family. So our plea, to summarize this, Mwebena Zambia, vote for Makebi. Makebi has been around presidents. And this, even the election, the way he won it, it's almost spiritual. Kumalawi, they had 17 presidents. People need to know, look at the caliber of a leader you are voting for. He has been around power, and somehow that power has gotten to him. Banda, ECL. So it's the writing is on the wall. It's up to us, Zambia, to just rally behind Makebi, and it's going to be an election between two people. All this unity, we are election calendar now, if Mamlela and that unity. Honestly, these people have not united for the Balungu freedom of preaching unity. I submit.
Thank you, Queen Pumi. Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Thank you. Anonymous in Zambia. Nifuno kamba po kapankani ya judgment ya mene wa PF wanayokuembekeza lero pate ya judgment.
Yes.
So ine maganizo yanga ni yakuti chiribu ino PF sempe vaisi ya kuli mausi samba wazidilingana na vaku koti since tinacho zinga kudala Makebi as a running mate wa under PF pamene nkani kupoti chiribu ino kutenga ipamozi alliance kuyenda nayo pamene bantu bonse bazachoka ba PF bazaenda kuli Makebi zuru pamene bayembekezera kuti vintu vonse vinkale bwino ngati kuzankhala futi msokonezo kuli Makebi zuru since uyu Makalava avomera kuti bafuna kuti bankale pamozi ngati kwankhala msokonezo kuli Makebi zuru chili bwino nikuita handing kuli ndani kuli Kalava na kweve kuja kuli brani mundu ile ngati kwankhala problem bacha bantu ali kuli brani mundu chiteni baende kwankhala futi pamozi nishi problem nishasira mangati ali hapa akamba huyu ali hapa akamba huyu nishikulipe pamene vizatandizika pa kugawanikana koma chame chifunika ni unity wonse chikwatiziwa kuti Kalava sanga wineka Makebi sanga wineka brani mundu sanga wineka chanchifunika njani ni unity. So i program ya PF original PF imsire ni mausi samba adilingana na kunkani ya kodi imwe tenti dilingana na chani na Makebi zuru already watu wanachoka kudara kuli kuli PF yamene iri ku court vanachokamo kudala vari kuli ndani kuli Brian kuli Makebi Zulu. So tione support pase Makebi Zulu kamchuchunganya futi tizakamba pasa uyu mzako amene ali pafupi na iwe amene alibe mlandu uli wonse chamene wafuna vantu wafuna kuti vachose iboma amene ilipo ni chamene wafuna vantu.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Wafuna vantu wafuna kuti vaike pamozi mavoti ndiponso iboma ichoke. So ngati Makebi Zulu amchuchungayo chisanga pesike pa ballot paper vanenge kumverana sisi vari pamozi vanenge kupasa mavoti vanenge kupasa ndani uyu wamene uchiteni uyu ari kalava tiziva kuti chametifuna ni ichi futi kuja kuli brand mundu ile kuja tiziva kuti brand mundu tanga wine futi vanenge kukhala pamozi abantu batatu Makebi brand mundu ile na ari kalava vanenge kukhala pamozi na venango vanenge kukhala pamozi.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello.
Yes, caller. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm Anonymous calling from Solowezi.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, Mwamba, you've worked as an ambassador in many countries in Africa and outside. I think Mwamba takuliko ama international communities abale monefile chitika muno mu Zambia. E.g., I can say American ambassador or Russian ambassador. I think, are they not seeing what is happening in Zambia, please? I think Emmanuel Mwamba kuti mwalanda konavo because muno mu Zambia vera butukira fe ukuli nkondo. Na muno mu Zambia nkondo efo yambe fine because if intufile chitika tafile chitika if intufisu.
Thank you. Our caller from Solwezi, Bimoni.
Who killed that lady in Solwezi? They didn't even. They were taking them as if they are not. They haven't killed anyone. But that one, just from talking, they manhandled him like a small boy. I think Zambia should. I think Emmanuel Mwamba should talk. You should say something because you worked in these international communities. Please let the American embassy help us Zambians. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Mwamba, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Chola calling you from Lusaka.
Chola, make your contributions.
I'm also making a contribution toward what is happening in our country. This is the high time as former politician, especially for opposition, ukulolekesha ukweba tibushe umuntu ingatuafuisha kwa tuabomba na enani nani. Ngatualolesha ubuteko baba UPN dina tulosha kwa tiba PF tabarifo kubupanya iyo. And na slot state batupere kuli ubuteko baba gainde ichilema. Icho tulelombo kweba ati ifo bali ma opposition fo ntungulushi ba PF ba mundu bile ba Makebi Zulu twali umfomu nyine fo president ali kalaba aito kweba ati baneni ero twasanswa ate kisendo cha muntu mo kisendo cha bonse pantu lelo kutini baba ni Makebi mailo aba ni mundu bile uli abushikuti baba ni ba president kalaba echo ba president na basendo lutampulo kukonka bonsa baba munyine efo abali mulishi muli fifu pani fya butungu ko batiseni pamo tubombele pamo echo tulechita biu kuli bonsa bali mu PF socialist abali kuli ba Makebi nabali kuli ba mundu bile bakalaba nabesule fibiko batiseni bane twingabombela pamo kwe bati tutwale ekyalo kyespantanshi ubunkalwe wachira kuli aba bantu nga twabapanya ala tatu apusuke bonse echo twalomboko bati seni tumani akapi nokubombela chapamo ififya citizen first filifya isula kuli bonse natotera bamwamba.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, I'm calling you from Solwezi. This is Greg Mianda.
Yes, Mr. Mianda, make your contribution.
Yes, I wanted to contribute something towards the program.
Yes.
Aba ichiriposhe ba opposition kwikatana. Muri bukaitemo muri imwe ba leaders ife pa grassroots na kwikatana. Ngai mwe chinshirirenga, what's the problem? Ikatane ni fama voice na kwikatana fwe bakwete naye ni fwe okuchira naye mwe bari pusana. Ikatane ni fye musolve ama issues tuishwe no tuleyana nkwe. Aba UPND naba mibira manaka ina beshiba echo bare mikatana besha na muchepa. So imunga mwai katana mwasala leader unga umo uli credible leadership yo telefone. Chapo anishwa mpela ma votes. Nishimwa ba win. Bantu apa bakola itafe baikato ngaba win it will even be worse. So anyway, that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwabombeni mkwaiba Mwamba.
Mwabombeni.
Mkwai. This is Susan Mwale from Lusaka.
Susan Mwale, make your contributions.
I'm also very happy that everybody's concern is to see that we remove this government. And I also want to agree with a lot of people that have contributed to say umuntu ngaipe shokoba tatwabombe one but twikatane like President Harikalaba did on the press the other day. We had to say mwebantu abantu twabakwanishe chira umona umo sentwikatane. I want everyone to drop their ego no kulekera conference ya kufoya fiat ineni nebo but bekatane babombere pamo balera that barikala batafo kubombana abantu but bali tulangisha pamula basa bose twali tamba ukweba tu umuntu alefo kubombere cyo cha Zambia alekera koko bati ndefu atubombere pamo na makebi zuru na lamu mona lero lini nabashala so iseni lekeni abantu ngentungurushi bose babombere chapo bekatane Zambia oturefu aye panta chifi ashala fyose tulabeko mwe bantu bakwalesa. I want to back the words of Harry Kalaba. He opened up. Let everybody follow suit. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's just get a recap before we wind up. What were we discussing today? The Patriotic Front judgment. What happened is there has been a case of 9 MPs that sued Miles Sampa at the time that he held an illegal conference. The court today said Miles Sampa held a legitimate legal conference. I've seen assertions, I will mention the media, Kalemba. Kalemba is a very big platform, which is saying the court said the party goes to Robert Chavinga. That is not true. If you look at the judgment, it doesn't even say that. It's only talking about that matter between Brian Munduwile, Raphael Nakachinda, and the 9 MPs on one side, and Miles Sampa, who was joined by 2 defendants, Robert Chavinga and Morgan Ingona. And it has said that conference was legal according to High Court Judge Concepta Zulu. So we had Brian Munduwile as first plaintiff. We had Stephen Kampiongo, second plaintiff. We had on the third Christopher Kangombe as third plaintiff. Fourth plaintiff was Remember Mtale from Chitambo. Fifth plaintiff was my dear brother from Chiluvi constituency. Sixth plaintiff was my dear brother from Lunte constituency. And the seventh plaintiff was Lupososhi, Member of Parliament Emmanuel Mpankata. Eighth plaintiff was Raphael Nakachinda as Secretary General of the party. This was the case. So you had these MPs, you had the Secretary General of the Patriotic Front suing Miles Sampa. The judge today says that conference that we were challenging was genuinely held. I have said the PF on their side should appeal against that case so that they can argue these issues because, for example, it anchors on the issue of that they didn't have a central committee because the key 6 officials resigned. On the other side, although Miles Sampa has won this case, there are other beneficiaries to that judgment. There are those 2 who were joined to the case as defendants, Morgan Ingona and Robert Chavinga. So although Mao Sampa has won, and this becomes a second judgment in the same court where he has won, you have to deal with the issue of Morgan Ingona and Robert Chavinga. The two already have a dispute. Mao Sampa fired them, as you saw by the other judgment, and they contended that they fired him. There's that dispute that has to be settled. But as we sit today, the judgment favors Mao Sampa. And where is Mao Sampa? Mao Sampa is with the original Patriotic Front because they had settled this matter. How you handle this becomes a leadership issue. There will be contention from Morgan and Robert Chavinga. If it is Robert Chavinga, he shouldn't be even entertained because he formally joined the UPND together with Sande Chanda at that event in Nakonde where the president was. So let me take the last calls and then we close the program. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Emmanuel Mwamba. Ntungulushi Yesu. Ya kwa tsa. Na chirafo kuchako eko ama sentiments ama webs ya mweni abantu bonse bafuma mukuranda pa. Na chirafo kula kutaking opportunity if achishikira kuri Brian Mundubire. Brian Mundubire baje bapera lali ya free kurusaka mukairo road. Nakako batuna bonse iyo Brian Mundubire babeta ku polisi. Ile ba makebi babeta ku polisi twayima bonse fiera ba given rubinda na ba kambundi na ba Mao Sampa na ba Mundubire na ba makebi twaya twapanga na imbirari firafine bala mbukora tino kutwikata nimechile kya kwe bati iyi pisture fwa fwe banchi aba kuruta bayita tabare ifwaya ndipo kubera kwa politician issue batemwe yakwe bati barabura party nzu PF olo ibe kwati yakusungira mo urupu wanga file arandika ngombe ati my family comes first ndebe bakaba disappointed this time around PF tatuakareke na futi bakatona wiri abakaramba to turelomba ukutira bonse bamye ko yindira pamunga bamufati makepi bamuita ngabamufati barubinda babeta bonse bayima chipifya ba support umuntu obekete umuntu barefukura chita intimidate umuntu barechitaras opo ba UPND na bachitara manage kwambo kula ikatabi na chitotera babatwala na kujere aba Nixon chirango babatwala kujere pomani babatwala kujere because barekesha imini na beka mwamuna yaba kwati ni mumpanga ile nkaramu ile foku ikato umuntu bonse mwayimini nkaramu eti ikato umuntu chabi pokutira bukanjitemwe nabukiramo ifu abantu barapwira ngatabaye katene twarapwa oba my election yanga twarusa ni chapwa kesami joy na fyo kwine bamwamba fwe bambi ndemieba ni chapo twaraba ku Zambia bamwamba ilili ashira kwikatana berisenda kwati byashira ku ya kwakana amare ilili ashira kwatana tatwabareki waraba pera Feinstein nono kirabeka tani pamo atotra bamwamba kumpera Feinstein.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Mwewa is my name, calling you from Lusaka.
Yes, Mr. Mwewa.
Mwamba nganda kotuleto tira panchito mlebomba. Lero chimbeto na lalanda kufonse falelanda chakwikatana. Abantu nga bayikatana mu position okutungirira umo as a president. If you do chava wino.
Not quarter feedback. Ngakuma weshako uko mleo umfuila.
Okay, emkwa ndilanda panchito mlebomba.
Emkwa.
Mlebomba nchito yakosa sana. Lelo fyonse bantu bayilanda kufya kukwikatana. Nga twayikatana takulichinga shupa. Then uyo mumendo oyo ati
is it cut?
kentu ikatani n'entungulu shino tutu bakwa mundu biri abale tukabakwa bakwa makepi ikentu ikatani aziba PF nokutungirira abina abantu nokumenya shwati babombere pamu nainga twaikatana takulichinga shupa na mingala toshira perera as a leader of what take a few abantu bakutemwape notukula using emingala topandu mingala toshi notwaibomusha kuna kulibo chentuikatani fintafiri muno muchalo abantu balechula balirira mulina tukwata abantu bali ku majeri abo abena boma enusambo abena chilango bonsabo balosha kulifwe ero nga twambo kwe batyo inikana fenyebu balafu abanyeso mujeri ero nga yasa wapapera another 5 years tukawa muchilo as a country. We are all behind you people. When we united as leaders, we come to the way forward. Then the other thing, if you are ikatira kuri PF, just forget about that. Chambe no kutontonka nya party tuinga bonfia instead of kwete. If you ngalanda kwa vile.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Mwape Nondolo Mwape wa Kubumba Mwape Nchitakatekola Fando wa Pokerenka Shikurubiro from Lunte.
Kwa mwewe na Lunte mulishani.
Awa tuli umutende ba ambassador wesu lero nangula tuli abasakamikwa. Ledo achimwe bachitinda nya ntungulushi Yesu kaidi kwishinte kuno kwa brand mundu bire bafuma ebaleta no Lunte bakuzabinga ba district. Mukwi Yaringo for abantu bonse ife balelanda na program yenu ya pamula basa wenu itwaikonka sana icho abantu balelanda bo bamwamba imwe mufire mwesa contribute makamaka because mwaikota platform ikulu na ifwe bakonka intungulushine pali ba makebi pali ba brand mundu bile tulamono kutira mwafini na kulubalirumo imwe ngaleta unity. So ile mwalambo kushawoda aba programs ukufuma lero inshala tukwete abantu besungo mu wonzi balelandira bakachula bambiero balefye balesitano balepoka ama passport ngeshwa poka ba plan mundu bili bakapoka bonze ile bakakonka ba makebi bakapoka bonze ifo bonze background we are willing ukuvote ubuteko out because the power nangu mfi wachita apart from kulabe pa fya abantu nomba natumone fya abantu besu balechura ntungulushi cheso feshire chura tufuiro kwamba chacha wachipya na nguwa uno mwaka so intungulushon zetu bombele chapa modabali venzo valeluisha ichilelusha venge fye bakola bachilanda ninkala muimine ile mina ula abantu nabe nabantu abalichana defect tradition fye bayidondonga yana mano yabo fu yaba so mwe bamunyina netendwi katane tume chacha tupoke obuntungwa wabubiri muno mu Zambia otherwise next 5 years kadisho fya abantu bakachula so ba Emmanuel Mwamba ufuma lelo ama programs mwambi okulaisa host yakushita unite abantu bonse aba intungulushon sechu kwakwata efe tulelo mbako notu mwafina kuri ba makebi mwafina kuri ba nani mwezi support TV PF nomba takuri apana ngo PF ya mitima Yesu twalishwa mama shato twafwala tatwakafule so tien tubike abantu bonse chapa monoti bachanda kabwena banane balenda fe babiri kano bonse balendela chapa mo so that ngabai katoyo bala punda ala kala muyo ya kato mundu so that tubususheko abantu beso ntungulusheko tuli mvwa bwene chira bushiko chire chula ngatwani mono koko muri kusefulimbi nombe ntungulushishiri kuno abengi bakachule chipeshamana so twapapa chine ukufuma lelo kuyana kontanji ambeni kusha hosta ama programs za kula unite ama factions ya kwa balubinda aya ba makebi aya ba brand mundu bile abrani mundu bile bali chimono kwitira pe mfuta bakatupera twambe fye kuluta mpololumbi ene kendi bonse tukwati umutima umono tukula ibika pa yo inengesa chitezita kubifyo ino instano bakufiro kuombera bonse chapamo atotera mkwai
Yeah. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Good evening, Good evening.
I'm calling from within Lusaka.
Tell us your name and make your contribution.
Remain anonymous.
Yes.
Mkwai. Yes, let me add my voice.
Mm.
Mwamba, my contribution is just a wonder over the panic which the New Dawn government is exhibiting.
Yes.
Mwamba, they stayed 23 years in opposition.
Mm.
Then after taking over power, it is 4 years plus. They have literally scored nothing. I can say nothing. Hello?
Baya makulandeni tule miumfoa. You don't inshifuro okula suminishefi akulandeni.
Mkwai. Mwamba 4 years.
Uh-oh.
They want to force themselves to maintain a leadership. Mwamba democracy, you allow people to vote for you to exercise the democratic right. You don't force yourself to be the leader of the people, but you allow abantu abene bakuvotera. But what I'm seeing, I am election to ala kwata pa 13 August 2026. Ndemona butungurushu bwa kuipatikisha.
Yes.
If I can compare 2 years basatoyo babombere before taturaingira mwaka wa kitatu bambi okulwala n'okutusha batusha na ba UPNDF yo babombere awe kutali sana ba Mwamba nangu ningamba fyo kupenda pali lero awe kutali fyo kutali fene mpanga nombocho bale ipatikisha ocho nshishibe bonza bale imini na makandidates bakatusuminisha efe tukavote ukulingana nefo twavotele mu 2021 tukasale ntungurusha osho tulefuaya fwebene no tukutupatikisha efyo tatulefuaya. I think napera popene ba Mwamba.
Thank you very much. I'm beginning to take the last cause. Mwantu wakwalesa tutushe. It was an emotive debate. It was important that we discuss this matter, but I'm beginning to close down. Make your contributions. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Kumalira ngoma kusanfya ba Mwamba enjita.
Mkwai mwewa kusanfya.
Mkwaye wa ala tata mwewe munande kufina na leaders ekiri ekulira kwesu fwewe. Kwena pa ground tata pali fyewe ino. Bali fyewe ino tata kwa ula abepa n'obufi. Kanchi mwewa kwata kweshuko. Tale ni mbale mulande kuna amalito kutira awe abantu bale mikwaye echo balefu aisha tata kwikatana epera mwe kwena na pera tata.
Okay, thank you very much. Today we're discussing the judgment and the latest development in the High Court judge. Concepta Zulu issued a judgment, a long-awaited judgment. And many people have said, you had warned that this judgment could go either side. Yes, I did. Because I said you just can't be hopeful that the judgment will be in favor of Nakachinda, Brian Mundubile, and others. What if it goes to the defendant, who was Mao Sampa, Robert Chabinga, and Morgan Ingona? What if it goes the other side? I don't know why people are trying to plan only one way. It could have gone either side. I say we are very fortunate. Even then I'd said, we are very fortunate that whichever way the judgment will go, it will somehow benefit us, because the main contender on the other side, Mao Sampa, is with us. He reconciled with the late President Edgar Lungu. And whatever happens, whether we win, in fact, as you saw the factors today, is that the Brian Mundubile team were also going to be a factor, because they were the plaintiff. It was Raphael Nakachinda and the MPs I read from Mlenga, Fube from Chilubi, remember Mtale from Chitambo, from Lunte, my dear brother from Lunte, Brian Mundubile himself, and Christopher Kangombe. All these were going to be beneficiaries of the judgment if we won, because they were the plaintiff. The issue was that the records at Registrar of Societies should have restored, in this case, to ECL and those that were there before Mal Sampa held the conference. So in my view, this was a win-win situation either way. Even if Mal Sampa has won this case, remember, he has 2 other defendants that the issues he has to resolve. And what this means, again, is matters, unfortunately, remain in court, because there is a court injunction in Kabwe and another court injunction in the Court of Appeal, where Morgan Ngona is pleading with the court to protect him, that is still SG until his appeal is heard in the Court of Appeal. All these we know are frustrations. And I like the call by the people that leaders must see beyond these personal differences and personal ambitions and come together. They've held the decision of Makebi Zulu to meet Harry Kalaba. They've demonstrated their excitement, and they are saying other leaders, Brian Munduwile, Fred Membe, KBF and others should come together. Unity will be the only way in which the opposition will be united, and at which they will present a strong challenge. Nomination days have been put to 18th May 2026, and Socialist Party Dr. Cosmas Musumali has written that they should be separated with that for MPs, and I agree with him. We want to call it. God bless you. We'll see you on Sunday.
We want change. We want change. We want change. We want change. We want to change.
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Pantuno mwaka Uya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Uya bebele Kakomone numa Uya bebele Walitula ile ona lembo ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo Wali mipele nevoti ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulira nechipatala ifwe Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulira na masukulu kuno Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Walitula baona lebo Imisebo ala ya jonaika Ichipatala takwaba kuno Abana besu basambirila mufimuti fya mango Bana mayo mapapira mungande zipatala takwaba kuno Imisepila chose mbalo fwa bapepa fyebange Fama lelilo mufunda tawafika Nembuto tashafika Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Mulitula baona lebo Nomba lelo mabwela imwe Mulefwa ya tumivotere Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Pantuno mwaka Uya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Uya bebele Kakomulele numa Uya bebele Mwachila mobufi Uno mwaka tulefa yaba kutubombera Nocha bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka Mukutwibira mano nga twabavotera abaya Nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere Nido chikubeba Wapoka walya Nido chikubeba Wapoka walya Ababina chimwe na mwekole Uko bafuma balilaba Bayi kutapisa Bala boko bafuma Bayi kutapai Bala bati bakabwela Baja chikinine na mabanu inapana kaso Wala onale bomula beja Ukutula po twamisalila ifwe mwalitulaba onalebo nomba lelo mwabwela imwe mulefa yatumivotele twakupe